How you doing, and welcome to my new podcast where I talk to comedians about their worst ever gigs and have a laugh about it. And this one, the first one, I talked to one of my favourite comedians and people. It's David Correos. He's all over TV on shows like 7 Days. He's the time-travelling guy on the Vodafone ad and Taskmaster New Zealand. Dave is, according to his webpage, a powerhouse of New Zealand comedy. I've gigged with him loads and it's always fun. And as this is the first one, let's jump right in. Let's not piss about. This was recorded in a car park in Paihia for some reason. I can't remember why. And this was the morning after the gig the night before. That's how time works. Enjoy! Tell us about your worst ever gig.
Worst ever gig?
Worst ever gig.
I got several. What kind of flavour of worst gig do you want?
I like a buffet.
A buffet, okay. One that I had was Lovegrove organised a gig in Whangarei at the Butter Factory.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I was about 2 years into New Zealand at the time, and then so I didn't have that much material, and my shtick was still get naked by the end of the show.
Yeah.
And that's the big laugh.
Yeah.
That's it, right? But
It's a good shtick.
And it was like, I think the audience was mainly like 50-year-old volunteer firefighters. So I get up on stage, I tell my first joke, it bombs, and I go, oh no. And I'm in my head, I go through all of my best material, which was like not really much. And then what happened was, after about 2 minutes, I'm already completely naked on the stage.
You just went to the punchline.
Yeah,
straight away.
I went straight to the punchline,
yeah.
and after those 2 minutes, I got like a surprise reaction. I don't remember really laughs happening, but there was a surprise reaction, and then all I remember thinking was, I got asked to do a 20-minute set. I got 18 minutes more of this shit to go. And it was just silence. It was just silence for the whole set. And the worst part was, because I got naked and I reached that point, I had to go back to my observational stuff. So
While
now
you're
I'm
naked?
just, yeah, while I'm naked. So I'm just a fat Filipino dude who's naked, telling weird stories about a circumcision while people are looking at it. And then at the very end of the gig, this couple went up to all of the audience members. Oh no, this couple went up to all of the comics, and they went up to each one of them. They're like, "Oh, you were so fantastic. Oh, that was so fun. Thank you so much for coming to Whangarei." And she looks at me, and all of the joy disappears from her face, and she just goes, "You're so brave. You're so brave with what you do."
It's like you're dealing with fucking illness.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake. Oh, was it really that bad? Oh, Jesus Christ. And I guess, yeah, that's fucking one of the worst ones I've done.
That's a shocker.
Yeah, what about you?
Oh, right, I'll tell you this one. Me and Alan were booked. This is kind of similar to yours, except I didn't get naked. When I go into panic mode, I go straight into my early material. I don't know how, I just go straight there. I couldn't tell you my early material now, but if I'm standing in front of a load of people who aren't laughing, I go straight to it. And because me and Alan we did Edinburgh when we seen you, and we did the Christmas song, the Die Hard song. And on the back of that, we were booked in to close a few shows in Dublin. So we were doing a couple of comedy clubs and that. And then someone got in touch with me that owns a big hotel or runs the entertainment in a hotel where a lot of big names used to do, like fucking Mrs. Brown and all of that.
Oh, wow.
When he was Brendan O'Carroll doing. So we were booked in to do that, but open for an 80-year-old crooner from South Africa. So me and Alan, they wanted us to do like an hour. So me and Alan did, let's do our stand-up on a bit of the show. So we'll do some of the songs. So we went in to do the gig, and we didn't realise the whole crowd are really old, like really old. And there was people, nobody was there to see us, right? And I got a list of the people that were there so I could prepare jokes. So there was teachers, a group of teachers there, right? So I got Kama Sutra colouring in. So my idea was, if they start talking, I'd walk over and give them colouring in and say, now be quiet and colour in this, right? And it was just people having sex. So we walk in, right? And Alan is there before me, and he's terrified. And I walk in, and he says, have you seen the crowd? And they were really old. Like they didn't want us, right? It was so old. They were there for the crooner, nothing else, right? So we're like, look, we'll just get through this. We've done Edinburgh, we're fresh. We just jump out and we do it. We'll start off running around giving gifts to people, and then I'll introduce the show, and then bring you on for comedy. Then I'll come on, do comedy, and we'll sing a few more songs, and we finish on a song, and then we go home. But we started on Die Hard because that always got people at the comedy club. So we jumped out and we started, hey everybody, how's it going? And they were looking at us terrified. So Die Hard, in the song, we sing about not everybody believes in Jesus and Christmas and stuff. So John McClane should be the new festive hero. And when we reach that point in the song, we rip off our clothes and we have a bloodied vest. And we start going, yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker, now I've a machine gun, ho, ho, ho. But all the old people, they didn't know Die Hard, so they didn't know the reference. So they just saw these two lads stripping in a vest covered in blood, just going, motherfucker, 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 right? So they just didn't like us at all, right? And I could feel the sweat building up. I'm like, oh man, this is torture, right? And I thought, I can get him with stand-up, right? I can get him with that. So we rushed through, we skipped the song, while doing it, we said, skip it. And the green room, by the way, was right behind the stage. Literally a door opens onto the stage, right? Yeah. So I did a little bit of crowd work, a bit of banter. Then I said, right, we'll do another song, an environmental song, which we did at a Father Ted event, right? Another song that goes well, and it's environmental, and it's just me shouting weird stuff while Alan is being the straight man. So I was like, this is our environmental song, our mental song. And he's like, it's like, we need to stop driving cars, and I'm like, kill the fucking cows, right? So I'm shouting all these different things, right? That's a contrast to him being, you know, we need to stop burning. I'm like, stop burning fridges and stuff, all this dumb shit, right? So we start doing that while we're covered in blood still, and I think now is the time. I run down, I do a Bono bit where I get on my knees and goes, we came from the monkeys in the trees, and then we turned into people or whatever. It's just this weird fucking Bono thing with glasses. And I ran down to the table of teachers, and I started doing that, and I'll never forget this. The woman just looked at me and goes, what's wrong with you? I just looked at me and goes, what is wrong with you? I'm like, oh my God, they hate us. They fucking hate us. So I jumped up, did some crowd work, kind of got them on board to what we were doing. I said, I'm going to introduce my friend, he's from Cork. So I reeled it in a bit because it was too mental at the start. Alan has really nice material, really, really nice, pleasant, affable material. I brought him out. I went backstage and I sat there. I started having a fucking panic attack. I was like, I can't do this. This is not. And the old crooner came in and he was angry at what we did. He was angry that we broke his room. So he was sitting in the same room. He didn't want us in his green room either. So it was just weird. And I'm just sitting there like fucking hunched over, tail between my legs. And then Alan was supposed to do, say, 20 minutes. I'd say 7 minutes. The door to the stage just opens. And Alan goes, they hate me. And I can see the crowd. I can see them through the door. He's like, what? Goes, yeah, they hate me. They're not laughing at me. He goes through. He's like, you better go out. I'm like, what the fuck, man? So I jumped out and I start doing some stuff and I start doing material. And then I got to the end.
Is it working?
I was kind of getting them. I'm kind of winning them over because it's about kids and stuff. And I'm like, you got kids? Yeah, you got kids. The Kama Sutra thing didn't go down well at all, by the way. At one point I ran over, here's your colouring in. And they're like, this is offensive. I'm like, oh, fuck off, right? Fuck off. What are you doing here, right? So I started doing material. Everything was going better. And then, so I was like, right, we're going to wrap up with a couple of songs. We have a song about Brexit and a song about Hakuna Matata, right? So it's Fumar Mata. It's about people buying cigarettes in Portugal and Spain because it was cheaper. So it's all about, it's like, Fumar Mata. What it means non-smoking in Portuguese, right? It's a fucking... But the thing is, we dress up in onesies while doing it. Like, I'm a giraffe and he's a zebra. And it's kind of fun.
Not even the right animals.
I know, I don't. Not even the right animals. You can't get a fucking warthog onesie, you know, in the shop, going to the warehouse. So we're up and singing the song. They have no idea what's going on. But before we got into that, I finished my bit and I said, right, what we're going to do now is bring Alan back on and we're going to sing another couple of songs. Who wants to see Alan? And they all went, no. All right, man. This is. Oh God. Okay. So then, so he came out. We sang the songs, and then we didn't even look at the crowd. The guy who was on next hated us. His kids hated us. The crowd hated us, and my picture was all over the fucking hotel. I was trying to rip down the posters on the way out. I was like, I didn't want my name associated with this. And then we were supposed to do 2 nights, and I literally didn't get out of bed the whole next day. The fucking anxiety was too much, and I lay in bed. And my dad, he knew we were doing the show. He was excited, and he was like, "Yeah, how was the show?" I don't want to talk about it. And then my mother was like, "Oh, really bad." And Alan had got a furniture from IKEA, a sofa, and he spent the whole day just turning screws because of his anxiety. He couldn't handle it either. We didn't speak for the whole day because we didn't want to do the gig. We were dreading it.
Yeah.
And then eventually I get a text from the guy who booked us. He said, "We got a lot of complaints about you last night. So many complaints. So we're gonna cancel your gig tonight, and we're gonna get someone else to get some drag artist in." And we were delighted. We were fucking delighted. I called up Alan. I was like, "How are you?" He goes, "Not good." And I goes, "What are you up to?" I was just putting a sofa together from IKEA. It's like, for the whole day, he's sitting there doing the sofa. And I was like, "You ready for tonight?" "No, I don't want to do it." Don't want to do it. Because sometimes, you know yourself in Edinburgh.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I came down to the kitchen and he was sitting there drinking whiskey, saying, "Can't do this anymore. Can't do this. Can't do this." I'm like, "Come on, man. There's 2 of us together." And times he's walked in and I'm drinking cider in my underpants, and I'm like, "Fuck the festival. I'm not doing it anymore. I can't handle this." Right? So that's what it was. So I wound him up. I said, "Look, man, we need to do this. We need this money." He's like, I can't do it. He started freaking out. And then I said, "What are you messing? We got sacked." We got sacked. And then that night, because my dad thought I was still doing the show, and he was driving a taxi, and he calls me up and he said, "I have a lot of lads in the car and they're singing your songs." They were singing one of our songs, right? And they were singing a song. I was like, "What?" They were singing a fucking song, the Christmas song. And they're really looking forward to seeing you tonight. I'm like, "Dad, we got sacked. We were shit. They hated us." And he went, "What?" And he told the lads in the car, and they were, "Oh, for." So the crowd that were coming to see us were coming on the second night. So they would have all came to see the other act and just would have been like, "Sing Die Hard." That was it.
No.
So I think we just missed out on that one.
No.
That's one of the worst. One of the worst.
That sounds painful.
Yeah.
Painful.
But it's when you look in someone's eyes and they're literally questioning what you do and your life, and they're like, "What's wrong with you?"
And then you believe it. You're
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, what is wrong with me? Why am I here?"
Where did I go wrong in life? Like, I walked in there going, "My name is on the poster. Yeah, this is the Red Cow Hotel. This is where the biggest names in Ireland started. This is it. My name on the poster." And I left there going, "Take my poster down. Take my poster down. Take my poster down." I never want to be seen again. I was already looking at flights back to New Zealand. But then we did other really good gigs after that. So I'm happy because we started to doubt everything in comedy.
Dude, my first gig in the UK made me doubt everything. So I didn't realize that Glasgow was the toughest, like one of the toughest cities to do in the world.
Yeah.
Like they're funnier than you.
Yeah.
And so I get on there, right, and I get on stage and I'm doing like all the stuff. First of all, there was no tech anywhere, so I had to do all my own sound. So I was doing it from a tiny speaker. And then I didn't realize that in the UK, if you don't win them over in the first 30 seconds, they'll eat you alive.
Yeah.
And on my way up to the front, I tripped over before I got to the stage. And instead of being like making a joke out of it, I genuinely apologized to everyone. I was like, "I'm sorry about that."
Oh, that's it, you're gone.
Yeah, and oh my God, they were not forgiving it.
Yep.
None of my gags landed. They were just like, "What are we watching?"
You probably had a nickname at that point as well, Trippy.
Yeah. Oh, dude, but they hated my material. Like halfway through, people were like, "Get the next guy on the stage." Like they were that kind of crowd.
Whoa.
Like, "Get him on, get him off." And I was like, I've never dealt with this because Kiwis are not like that at all. Kiwis will hate you silently.
They will listen to the shit. Like last night, they will sit there and listen and go, "Okay, that was done. Next."
Yeah, that's good. Okay, let's move on. These guys, they just kept heckling me
It's
and
like
telling
they
me
have
to
a
get on.
schedule, they have somewhere to be.
And they're the worst fucks as well. They were the dregs of society. Fuck them so much. My music didn't work on stage.
Oh God.
And then I was doing my big stunt where I eat all the things in one go, right? And it's like, if it was like from 10 to 1, anyone can count that. But it's like, I'm like, we have to go from 60.
Yeah.
These people were not willing to count to 60 for me. And I was like, "Oh, Jesus." And then near the end, They all were like, while they were counting, they were watching me down, because I eat a tablespoon of cinnamon, I eat a whole egg raw, I snort a condom up my nose, and I drink a litre of milk in one go. And they all just started clicking into place. Like, oh, he's actually fucking doing it. And he's doing it well.
Did he appreciate that?
Yeah, they appreciated that.
Yeah.
And so from the start of the 60, I was getting boos, but then by the end, they all started clapping. I got an applause. Off stage, yeah. But I fucking cried. I cried on the way home.
Oh, man.
I cried on that walk home because I'd never had so many people gang up on me in one go. I'm like, fuck, I've never dealt with this in New Zealand.
Your act is so polarising, because we talk about this a lot. That gig you did in Adelaide, where you, at the same gig, you got a 1-star and a 5-star at the same show. And I was sitting there, and I know exactly who gave you the 1-star, the baldy fella who you left a face print on his head.
Oh.
Like the shroud that you're in was on his head from the face paint, and then the other people that were over there who were loving it.
The thing is, people don't, when they watch me, they're like, okay, well, this is polished. But to get to the polished part of the chaos, I've had to have so many breakdowns on stages because I'm just like, why am I doing?
Yeah.
I remember at the Adelaide gig, halfway through, I was like, I've got nothing. No one's laughing. This is terrible. Oh God! So I stood on a chair. My leg went right through the chair.
That's not the gig I was at, was it?
No. This was like the third one over, when there was only when it was an 80-seater room with like 8 people, and 2 of them liked me, and I was like, what am I doing here? I'm so sorry. I've apologized way too many times on stage.
I'm sorry you paid to see this. You apologised last night as well. Well, the best was, I told you this as well, I booked you for a gig and in West Auckland, and the gig was fine. You went on and you fucking smashed it. You were on before the headline act, and the headline act couldn't follow you. I won't say who they were. And you absolutely smashed it, and it was great, and I fucking loved it. Then I got a complaint the next day. I'm sick of complaints, right? Fucking sick of complaints. But this one was a prick, right? And he said, I got paint on my Gucci sweat top, my jumper. I got paint on my Gucci thing, because that guy wearing paint. No one told me that there was going to be. Who wears Gucci in fucking West Auckland for a start, right? Who's going out in West Auckland?
I'm glad we're laughing about this now, by the way.
Oh, fuck it. Oh, man, I didn't care. I didn't care, because I love you and what you do. I fucking hate the audience sometimes when they're like that. When I got complaints about you taking your willy out at a quiz, I'm like, it's funny. Are they laughing? Yeah, except that person having their steak. Don't eat steak somewhere else. You know what I mean? You're sitting there eating steak and there's your willy flopping about. It's all right. It makes you think of sausages, but then the fucking small ones, and then
they're flavorful though.
Flavorful.
A lot of umami.
That's a flavour. Yeah. Has that cheese on the inside. It's
like burrata.
It just fucking seeps through. But the guy complained that he got paint on him, and he said there was nowhere it said there was going to be paint in the show. And this is where I feel like I should be a lawyer or a solicitor. I just emailed back with a picture of the poster, and the picture I used to you was covered in paint. I went, there's your evidence. He's covered in paint in the photograph when you bought tickets. And I was like, fair point.
Dude, you have to fix the way you email people, because you have an angry tone about you on messaging, but it's just your intensity put into the messenger.
It's how because I hate texting. I was like, where are you? Shop. But I'm really going, where are you? Shop.
I never hear that. Yeah. All I hear is like, you fucked up. And that sent me to a fucking spiral that day. Oh, I was so worried. I was looking at my account. I was like, I got $13. I got $13, Ellen. I'm really struggling right now. I can't. Where am I going to get that money from?
We had to fucking clean that shit. No, we didn't. Fuck him. You know what I mean? He didn't want a new jersey. He wanted it dry cleaned. I was like, well, just fucking seep. I didn't even care. No, but I'm having fun with you as well by going, oh my God, you got a complaint last night. You got paint.
Like, the worst thing.
Yeah, I'm saying that because I'm laughing. I'm saying that because I want you to freak out because I think it's funny. I think it's hilarious. Same way I did with Alan, like I did with Alan with that show. I was like, you ready for the show? I knew we weren't doing the show, but I just wanted to make him sweat a bit.
I'm glad I know that now, because contextually, now I'm like, okay, he's fucking with you. He's definitely fucking with you.
I don't care about.
And then the one time when you're not fucking with, it's like, no, David, you're going to court. You got your willy out.
But yeah, no, it was just funny that because people went to the quiz to see you do that. That was a quiz for them. Yeah. So to the extent where if I was covering your quiz or Darren was covering your quiz, they were like, why has he still got his clothes on? Like they thought it was some sort of stripper's quiz.
Well, the thing is, like, when you first gave me that quiz, I didn't know what a quiz was.
Yeah.
So I was, but you were like, just do whatever you want.
Do what you
and
want.
the thing is, I had no parameters for what you want. I was doing full bits. I was doing 5 minutes of material. I was like pulling out my laptop, and I've been working on the song, and I just play it for them, and it would get like a tepid round of applause when I play it. But now looking back as like doing quizzes, I'm like, what the fuck were you thinking? You should have just been giving them the fucking quiz.
Yeah, but I do the same as well. I practice with them without them knowing. I throw some shit in and I go, right, that's material. It's just I don't know what a quiz is either. And I run them. I don't know what it is. I hate quizzes, which is why mine is there to wind up people.
Yeah,
mine is there
proper quiz goers hate it.
Oh, I know. And I love it. I love seeing their face. I love seeing their face when they come to quiz and they say, excuse me, can you turn the music down? I'm like, no. And they're like, you can't. What was one the other time? Yeah, it was oh shit, it was in the cab. And she came up and she said, turn the music down. Yeah, this one. So she made a complaint. She comes up to me and she goes, can you turn the music down or turn the speaker down? The bass is too high. And I said, all you need to do is this. And I covered my ears. Right? La 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 la, right? And she looked at me and she walked away angry. And I went, oh, fuck, right, she's going to complain. This is only recently. This is only a few weeks ago. And I didn't turn the music down. I turned it up. And she went to the manager and complained. And the manager said, well, that's what the quiz is. It's not a real quiz. It's a comedy quiz. People are laughing. People are having fun. You know, there's anything we can do for you. They ended up getting a jug of free booze just to keep them happy.
Yeah.
But they fucking hated the quiz. And because they hated the quiz, I went more at them. I wound them up more and more throughout the quiz.
Yeah.
Like I've done it when I started the quiz, there was a table, they expected a serious quiz, and they came over and said, it's too dark, put the lights up. So I called the managers over to the table and said, is there any chance we can get 2 floodlights on this table just for this lady because it's too dark, right? And she's like, what? And even at the quiz a few weeks ago when the lady was like, you can't do that. I said, I was joking. She goes, yeah, but I'm a customer. You can't talk to your customers like that. I said, you're not my customer. They're my customers. They're all having a laugh. You're just in the bar and not happy. You know, that's not my deal, you know? That's what it is. I've changed, I'm a lot calmer and nicer with arseholes now, but when I started, it was go fuck yourself was the answer every single time.
Because that's what you just go into heckle mode.
Yeah.
And oh my god. See, your problems were fun. It sounds like a fun problem to have.
Yes,
Mine were all tech issues. There was one point where the projector wasn't working. I unplugged my iPad. I ran through every single team and I showed them all the picture that you had on your fucking quiz. And normal quiz goers were like, what the fuck is this fucking quiz?
Doesn't make sense.
Oh my god. I had an old high school mate turn up to one of my quizzes and I was just like, he thinks I'm struggling in life. I just wanted to tell him, this isn't me normally.
This is just a Tuesday.
This is how I pay my rent.
Yeah. I'm just saying, when I had people turn up that I used to work with in like sales, and I go, this is what you're doing? How old are you? Like they have that look. They don't say that, but they're looking at me going, you should be settled. You shouldn't be doing this. And I'm like, yeah, here we go, yeah, all embarrassed. But it's my business. Like it makes me money, but quizzes have a bad reputation. Quizzes have a shocking, which is why I take the piss out of quizzes and I just act the bollocks and mess. But you get some, you have some dodgy. Like, here's a bad gig, right? I did a mixture. It was for, I won't say who it was for, and this was brought up randomly to me on the street. Like when other people know about it, you're like, shit, this was a shocker, right? So
people have brought this up.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So I was booked in to do this stand-up comedy quiz sort of format for a Christmas party. And I got up, I did some banter, everything was going well, everybody was laughing. It was nice. I started doing the slides, we were having fun with the slides. And then I did something about, anyone got kids? I went into the kid routine and I started talking about that. And I don't know what it was at one point, but the whole room changed. They just weren't happy and there was no laughs and it was awkwardness. And I went, I don't know what happened, right? But I carried on, tried to move on to the next bit, but they were gone. I lost them and there was no getting them back. And then the CEO just walks over and goes, yeah, I was gonna wrap her up. It's just gonna end it. I was like, okay. And I think what I did was I said something about kids, why would you have them, or something like that. And somebody, I think, lost a kid And that was it. Even though it was nothing to do with the joke and what was going on, they just all went, oh God, you know, Susan just lost a kid or whatever, and it just changed the whole mood in the room, and there was no coming back from it. Coming back.
I know a similar story of another comic that did a gig in a town, told an epilepsy joke, and someone the week before, their daughter had died of a seizure. No. He got ran out of the fucking town.
Man.
I was doing a gig, and so I grew up, and I grew up Jehovah's Witness, and so I just started ragging on Jehovah's Witnesses, because I had so many, I had this joke about jerking off to the Bible, in the middle of a sermon, in the toilets, because it was so boring, right? I'm doing all this, and normally it gets a laugh from how, there were punchlines in there, and I was like, okay, well, this gets laughs. None of them were landing at all, and they were laughing beforehand, but then the moment I started talking about Jehovah's Witnesses, it just was completely silent. Turns out the comic who organised the gig is also a Jehovah's Witness, and this was the one night that all of his friends came to the gig. So I was ragging on them hard, and then I left, and then they were all like, oh yeah, by the way, bro, all those people there, all Jehovah's Witnesses, and I'm looking at them going, oh, what the fuck are they doing here? I thought they don't go to fucking bars. What the fuck are they doing here?
Well, I hope you enjoyed that. It was good fun. We were in a car park in Paihia. We were waiting on, looking for Lovegrove, who went missing, which he just went for food, but he never told us where he was going. And we thought we'd record it, and we looked like two dodgy people sitting in a car park. I started recording these chats ages ago, and then I meant to release them as a podcast, but I got really busy, which was lovely, and I got lazy when I got home from gigs and just couldn't be arsed talking anymore. So, but now we've gone into a lockdown in New Zealand, and I have too much time. I've gone from working every night to having no work at all, and it's hard to pull the brakes. So I can't sit down and just play computer games and watch The Chase. I do that during the day normally, but so I have all these little projects, writing projects, and this podcast to do to keep me busy. You know what I mean? And it's interesting talking to comedians about their worst gigs, because there's a whole psychological aspect to it, how they deal with a bad gig. If does it make you want to quit altogether if you have a bad gig or a bad day at work? So it's curious just to talk to different acts and find out their mentalities and how they go about it. And I shared a couple of mine in this one with Dave. One of my worst ones was back in Ireland when I went back a couple of years ago. I'll probably go into more detail into that in the future if I talk to the other Alan and we have a laugh about it. But in the meantime, I've a couple of good ones in the pipeline, and I've a few other podcasts that I have recorded and I'm ready to release pretty soon. And if this turns out to be a long lockdown, oh Jesus, I'll have loads, man, loads. So that was Dave, and the next one is a doozy. I recorded it in a car park again. I love car parks, and not in a dodgy way. Do you know what I mean? It was a beer garden in Northcote with one of my favourite comedians and people, Nick Rado, or Nicholas Radovanovich, if you go by that name. He is, I have his accolades here. New Zealand comedy legend Nick Rado is a multi-award winning writer, MC and stand-up comedian. He's a panellist and head writer on 7 Days, the big show here, the big panel show, and he's the only comedian to win the New Zealand Comedy Award for Best Comedy MC 5 times, and he's the winner of the Best Male Comedian at some stage. And he's open for big comedians on their tour here. Russell Howard, Rob Brydon and Aziz Ansari on their national tours of New Zealand. He also has released his stand-up special. And I will get all the links and stuff and put it on whatever people look at on these podcasts. But I'll get all of them for the next one. So we've a great chat. And so I released that in a week or 2 or 3 or 4 or a year. Depends if I get back working. But in the meantime, thanks for listening. If you did, if you stayed listening to this point of the conversation, you probably didn't. You probably just fucked off. But if you're still listening, thanks a lot. I'm still talking. So whatever people do with the social media, add it to your favourites. Click the subscribe. Put it in your pocket. Fold it up. Put it in a ham sandwich and eat it. Whatever you do, I don't know. But anyway, thanks a lot for listening. Until next time, see you later. Good luck. Goodbye. Bye.